In our first story, government says it will implement the urban transport policy and the national accommodation policy. This is to alleviate the challenges of mobility and accommodation facing the country's rural sector. This was disclosed at the observation of World Habitat Day on Monday.
Monday, 7th October marks World Habitat Day. The day reflects on the state of towns, cities and all individuals' basic right to adequate shelter. Though the day was commemorated under the theme, Improving Urban Mobility for Sustainable Development, the situation of housing deficit is ever present in Ghana. Since 2010, there have been more than 50% of Ghanaians living in the urban areas. The rapid urbanization of the country, however, has led to the accommodation problems. The Deputy Minister for Water Resources, Works and Housing, Vincent Asamoah, said the government is not relenting in its efforts to provide adequate and affordable housing facilities for the ordinary Ghanaian.
On the uncompleted 4,720 affordable housing units located at 6 sites, the ministry has set in motion a mechanism to get them completed and construct new ones. In this regard, the ministry has allocated the Pone site to TDC for completion. The housing unit at remaining sites, namely Boteman, Asokore Mampong, Koforidua, Tamale, and Wa, would be completed in partnership with Social Security and National Insurance Trust.
The project coordinator of urban transport, Samson Jamra, also identified congestion, inadequate infrastructure and indiscipline as challenges facing Ghana's urban mobility.
All right, though the theme for this year's World Habitat Day focuses on urban mobility, Ghana can never gloss over the housing deficit situation confronting the nation. And we have in the studio this morning Minister for Water Resources, Works and Housing, Deputy Minister for Water Resources, Works and Housing, Samson Ahi. Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
All right, my first question to you is, the housing deficit continues to widen. How does government intend to tackle the problem?
Thank you very much. It is true that we have huge housing deficits on our hands. As we speak, we're talking about 1.8 million housing deficits. And this is a challenge to all of us. And government recognizes the fact that there's a need for us to work very hard to accommodate our people, but that is not the case as we speak today. And so efforts are being made to address the challenges that we have. And for that matter, as we speak, I'm sure you are aware that under President Kufuor, they started some affordable housing at 6 sites. We have some at Pone, Botema, Koforidua, Kumase, Wa, and Tamale. They spent 18 million Ghana cedis before they left office. Now, the remaining work to be done will cost us 241 million Ghana cedis. And so, what in the State of the Nation address, which was read to the nation by His Excellency the President, he promised Ghanaians that he was going to work very hard to complete all the ongoing affordable houses. And therefore, my minister, Alaji Konzada, after that took it up. So what we have done now is to give all the slots at Pone to TDC, that's Tema Development Corporation. So if you go there today, you will see them working very hard on the facility that we have there. We've given 5 blocks also to State Housing Company at Botema, and they have completed, and 5 blocks also to the Defense Ministry to work on and then give it to the military. The remaining ones.
Government has spoken extensively about public-private partnership. What has happened to that? Are there any collaborations here?
Yes, there are. At the moment, what we have done is last year, government was able to enter into PPP, as you said, with a Brazilian company called OAS, and they are ready to do 5,000 housing units. It is along between Katamanso and going to the water region. On your left side, you will see Nego Pram Pram, and you will see it on the left side that the contractor is on site as we speak. They have cleared the site, and then hopefully by 30th of this month, the president will carry a sword for that to commence work. And so that is one. Apart from that, we have also a PPP arrangement with Angu Construction Limited to also come and do 10,000 housing units. And apart from that, government deliberately putting some policies in place to attract investors into the housing sector, and therefore there is a 5-year tax holiday for possible developers who want to come into the housing sector, so that they will not be paying tax for 5 years, and all materials that they import into this country for the purpose of doing affordable housing will be duty free. So these are all facilities available to attract many more investors to come on board. Government recognizes the fact that given the numbers, the huge deficits, we cannot do it alone, and therefore there's the urgent need for us to partner the private sector. And so that is what we are doing at the moment.
You would agree with me that the pricing of houses is escalating. Is government making any provisions to probably subsidize the prices of housing in the country?
Yes, that is the exact meaning of the PPP, because in that package, government will bring in land as equity, and therefore pricing the cost of the housing, land is considered. And so if you have a PPP arrangement, government will give land freely to the developers, and so that cost will be deducted from the total cost of the house, and then also the tax component that will be exempted by the developers will also be taken out, and that's what we are doing now. And last week, my minister thinks that we should try and engage some mortgage facilities. If you go to the US or the Europe, you realize that many more people who own their own houses get it through mortgage facilities. And therefore, last week we met some banks who have expressed interest in coming on board. And what will happen is that you, as a worker, you pay some percentage, about 10% of deposit, and they spread the remaining for about 20 years. And so every month you'll be paying, say, 200 Ghana cedis or 150 Ghana cedis, depending on your strength. And so these are all the things on the table for consideration.
Let's still remain on the pricing. Let's look at the cost of production, for instance, of cement. Not long ago, it was announced that the prices of cement is likely to go up. What is happening to private initiatives like Pozolana? What is happening to the factory, for instance?
Yes, there's a need for us to go into appropriate technology as a country to identify what we think we can use best. And if you look at the past, our forefathers never used cement, but they had a very strong and solid houses. But now everybody is talking about cement, and if you look at the factors that also goes into the production of cement, certainly the prices will go up. And therefore, I think what we have to do now is to educate our people, because in our ministry we have the rural housing department, which is focusing on the use of this clay, ordinary clay, to mold bricks so that we can use it to construct. But the taste, our people have developed taste in the blocks, the use of the concrete other than using the concrete, landcrete, and therefore I think we have to educate ourselves very well. And then so we have asked the rural housing to do some samples across the country for people to actually see the fact that it is also equally habitable if you properly organize it.
All right, let's look at proper planning of the city. You see lots of development on peripherals. What efforts are you putting in place to manage, all these developments?
I think it's boiled down to, let me use the word indiscipline. There are rules that are available for you to go through before you are able to continue your building. But sometimes people, you go around and you see that they have written stop work, produce permits. You may be surprised that it's the person who is developing that particular place that goes to do the writing. And so I think we have to, if we want Accra to be first-class capital city for where all of us will be happy, we should just obey the rules and the regulations. You cannot start building when you don't have permits from either AMA or TMA or whatever you find yourself. And people randomly, violate this simple requirements. And I think that is why you see people building just inside waterways, and anytime it rains, you see what happens to us. And so I think that is something that you, the media, too, should take it up, so that all of us will educate ourselves and see the essence of obeying the laws, which at the end of the day will serve everybody's interest.
All right, let's hold on and watch this. Players in the building and construction industry have cautioned any increment in cement prices will only compound challenges in resolving the country's housing deficits. They bemoaned the industry was already facing challenges with the increase in tariffs and are scared this would only compound their problems.
Experts say the country is currently faced with a housing deficit of 1.7 million. Already, prices in some building materials have gone high following the increment in tariffs. Industry players are worried any increase, as hinted by Gassem, would only compound challenges in the industry.
Once you increase cement price, you should expect housing prices to go up. Without cement at the site, everything is at standstill. So it is a big blow.
Cement forms a major component of the materials that we use for housing, and anything that affects it will have repercussions. And definitely, if it went up, we believe that it will also affect the price going up. Depending on how much increment that is coming, the repercussions is equally in the quantum of how much increment is coming.
He, however, suggested possible interventions to counter the impact.
We have to move beyond what Pusalana is providing for Ghanaians, and rather move into high production, and also look at producing cement, open up for more industries to come in to help. But for now, the issue is the price. Yeah, because so far as there's an element of importation, they will compute it and compute the cost after they have looked at their own expenses and getting the product into the country. So it's not going to be an easy one. But
the new prices, according to Gassem, would be released by the end of October.
All right, Mr. Samson, you saw that for yourself. The housing deficit issue is a huge problem in this country. So finally, let me find out from you, the affordable housing project, how far have we gone with that, and how far can we help in dealing with the problem?
Yeah, as I said earlier, we are in the process of handing over the remaining ones at the Kumasi, Wa, Tamale, and Kufurudia to SNET. And next week we will be going to Kumasi and Wa with SNET to actually hand over for them to work on them. So far, I think that is what is left to be done. And so, by God willing, by the end of the year, all sites will have been, if you go there, you will see that there's some work going on. And so we are doing, because the president has charged us to work very hard to ensure that we complete all those affordable housing. Efforts have been made so far, and I can say if you go around the sites, the various sites that I've mentioned, you will see that works are progressing. And the other ones that are coming on board, as I've mentioned earlier, by the end of this month, you will see that something is being done. But what I can say is that it is true, and government recognizes the fact that many more Ghanaians don't have better place to habitat themselves, and therefore government is working very hard, and that's why we are calling on the private sector to come on board to help us solve these huge problems on our hands.
All right, thank you very much for speaking to us. We have been speaking to Mr. Samson Ahi. He is the Deputy Minister for Water Resources, Works and Housing on the housing deficit situation in the country.